I think this album, its bare bones is very personal and it tells the plight and story of a just a kid that's like finding their sexuality and learning the world as they go. What's up, everyone? This is Tatum. I'm back with another episode of Fuck This Review, where today I'm gonna be reviewing Lil Nas X. Let me just say this before I get into the review. First thoughts. It seems like Lil Nas X should have been had his debut album. With saying that, it also made me think like, wow, they really kind of one of the few artists that I see that actually got a artist development kind of. Like, even though the Old Town Road blew up and things of that nature, he was still like being groomed and creating these songs. And I think that helped the album a lot, because the album itself, just first thoughts, the album itself to me, off the times I listen to it, it's a very personal album. Great written pop records. I think there are great pop records on here. When I listen to it, sometimes I'll say this. I don't think the singles do this album any justice. I think this album, its bare bones is very personal and it tells the plight and story of a just a kid that's like finding their sexuality and learning the world as they go. I think the story that's weaved into it is so great. Stories like this needs to be told. No matter what you think of Lil Nas X, the antics or whatever you may think, for me, this story needs to be told. And I feel like sometimes that story can get lost within. I don't want to use the word antics. I think the story at hand could sometimes get lost in the sauce with just everything surrounding it. You know what I mean? But I think it's a lot of people who are going to relate to this story and is going to appreciate this story being told on this magnitude of level, because we haven't got that experience from a black, young, gay artist, like coming from nothing, coming from poverty, having issues with your family and all that. And then you blow up and you're learning yourself as you learn this music business at the same time. So it's a lot of learning that I felt in this album that I'm gonna get into more. So I feel like I'm sorry if I just kind of like just threw us into like the review, but I just wanted to get that. I just wanted to let that be known in my thoughts first before I dove into the album. So I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I'm going to go through some of the tracks I liked on here, some of the things I didn't like, and just give my overall take on the album. So let's get into it. And to start the album off with I guess it's the title track. But to start the album off with your single, I always like that when artists did that, because it kind of like, all right, let's get this out the way. Because usually a lot of times with artists, especially rappers, the single don't really match the album. Like the single is, you could tell it was made to go commercial, and it really don't match the album. I'm not even gonna talk about the singles a lot. I think we all know, you know what I mean? Like it is. So I'm gonna go straight into, and as an intro, I guess it was a cool intro. It just felt like I just heard that song so many times that it's hard to like be excited about it anymore. Dead Right Now, when that song came on with those horns and just that vibe. What was the producers he worked with? Take a Day Trip. And it's a duo producer group, songwriters as well, who pretty much produced this whole album. And you could tell the three of them locked in for about a year and a half and crafted. I'm not going to say that all the songs sound like Lil Nas wrote them, and that's one of my gripes with it, but it is tailored to him. It fits his life. Dead Right Now, I thought that was a dope record. He's talking about his mom. I could imagine what this guy goes through. So he talks about his mom and however way she treated him, and him staying at his, like, it was so much family turmoil wrapped up in this record. But it's a liberating record in a way. Kind of sad too, because he said like, you're dead right now, I'm on your head right now, you know, like it's kind of like, it's still young because he's still, you're gonna need me more than I'm gonna need you kind of thing, instead of just a forgiveness kind of thing. But I really did enjoy that, because it let me know this is what I wanted from a Lil Nas album, be truthfully honest with you. And I'm not even a Lil Nas fan, but I was having a discussion. I'm like, damn, if he could like create an album that basically just talks about that turmoil that the young black gay male goes through, it'd be so beautiful, because we never heard that before in music. You know what I mean? It's like uncharted territory. So I wanted to hear these experiences and hear how the household was, and just, he talks about his dad as well. Like, I wanted to hear those types of things. So when I got When we got to dead right now, I was like, yes, 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 yes. Industry, baby, we know what that is. Like I said, I don't think that the singles on this album does this album any justice. What I want. That song, I feel like that's just a pop record. Although I feel like that's one of the ones that the record company probably gave to him and was like, "Here, sing this. Let's get into every H&M around the country." Okay, I guess it ties. I'm gonna contradict myself really fast. I guess it ties into the story because he's looking for someone to love. You know what I mean? So I guess in the scheme of that, it kind of fits with the story, but the sound, I know what it is. Like, you won't fool me. Scoop, probably one of my favorites. I forgot to write that down as one of my favorites, but Scoop is probably one of my favorites. But I remember because I follow Lil Nas X on Twitter because he's fucking hilarious. But Scoop was one of the ones he like previewed some time ago. Lil Nas X does this all the time. Where he did it a lot, where he would just preview songs, and I remember this was one of the ones I was like, that sounds pretty good. And he even has that line, I hate to say it. He said, I ain't talk about a gun when I asked where you dig at. That's just a funny ass line. This is a song he added Doja Cat to, and the verse sounded phoned in from Doja Cat, but it's cool to have, it was cool. I feel like it needed something to close it up, but that's a cool record as well. One of Me, is that the one with Elton John playing the pianos? That one is one of my favorites. Say you want me, say you want. I like this song so much because he talks about all the backlash and hate he received from just making Old Town Road and making one of the biggest songs of all time in music history. And he's still a baby. He's only was 19, 20 when he made that, and to be ridiculed by the world, you're a one-hit wonder, you'll never be this, you'll never do this, or once you do it like that, once you do this, it's kind of like a tug of war, like something that you really don't ever want to do with a teen or a teen grown into an adult in their early 20s. Is like, what do you want me to do except rebel? Like, you want me to do it like this, you want me to do it like that. When can I ever just be myself and do what I want to do? How you know I want to do music for? How you know I'm doing this for? Like, you don't even know. Like, all these assumptions is just, it can be jarring, and it can wear down the mental, and especially as a black queer, that's it. A young black queer man it has to be tough. So I just understand. Lost in Citadel, I believe. That song reminds me of a Fall Out Boy song. It even has that the way the instrumentation goes, it gives me that hum hallelujah, like just the instrumentation of it. But records like this and the pop songs on here, it's my biggest gripe with the album is that it just feels like it's not so genuine. You know what I mean? It feels like these are pop records that the record company just, here, sing these, and he's doing a good job delivering. And I'm not taking any away from his delivery. He's singing well, he's rapping well, his melodies are dope. It's all dope. It's a little bit too perfect. You know what I mean? It's perfect. Like, and this could just be me, and I'm rambling right now, but this could just be me. With certain artists, when you don't feel something. When it's kind of fake in a way. And that's what I get from some records on here, just me. And that's why I said I don't feel like the singles and pop sounds give the story of this album any just due. I still like that song, though, because it does remind me. In closing, though, I do still like that song because it reminds me of a Fall Out Boy record. And I'm such a Fall Out Boy fan. Dollar Sign Slime is another one. I don't even think he uses slime. That record sounds like a rapper wrote it and was like, here, give it to Lil Nas X. Like, I don't know. Dollar Sign Slime, I don't think I'm that Dollar Sign Slime. Like, I don't think that's him. And I could be wrong. I don't know Lil Nas X, but I don't think that's him. And I think these records on here, again, mess up the album. I feel like I heard Tales of Dominica somewhere. I don't know. That song gives me a little bit of that Old Town Road feel. Even the way he's singing it gives it like this country kind of record. And it's cool. It's not a bad record. Like I said, I don't think it's a bad record on here. I think that it's too polished, if you ask me. Sun Goes Down and Void. I love those two records. I know you want to cry, but there's more than life than dying over your past mistakes. You get to see his true self on records like this. Like, you get to see it. You get to see, this is the story I'm talking about. You get to, when he gets to speak for those outsiders, when he gets to speak for the underdogs, when he gets to speak for the people who just don't have a voice. These are the records right here. These are the records that's gonna, when he does his shows, these are the records that's gonna get the fans crying. This one's gonna be, yeah, these are gonna be the ones. Void as well. Just showing those insecurities is dope, and it's great. It's a great record. The melodies are great. Like, all the melodies are catchy on this album, and I just love it. I love that story, man. I just love it. And to me, Be truthfully honest, I wish the album would have ended that void. If the album ended that void, I would have been so happy. The last 3 records, I feel like they're just, even the one with Miley Cyrus, I just feel like, and that's a good record, but I just feel like it was, I don't know, I feel like it's unneeded at this point. He kind of just closed up the story to me. That's just me as a listener and listening back to it over the past week and, just dissecting the album. But let me get into my best songs. Sun Goes Down, Dead Right Now, and One of Me. Worst song, I'm gonna go with Dollar Sign Slime, if you haven't noticed already. Best line, I like it because he talks about his insecurity. So he says, like, ever since I was 10, I've been feeling lonely. Had friends, but they were picking on me. Always thinking, why his lips so big? Was I too dark? Can you sense my fears? These gay thoughts will always haunt me. I prayed to God that he would take them from me. It's hard for you when you're fighting, and nobody knows when you're silent. Yeah. So I just love that line because it kind of summed up it summed up everything for me. As far as a rating, fucks given out of 5, I give it a 3.5. Let's wrap this up though. I did enjoy the album. I really did enjoy the album. Like I said, I appreciate this story being told of a young black gay male who blew up, had the biggest song at 19, 20 years old, and learning life, learning themselves. It makes me feel kind of bad for Lil Nas X that the world kind of just, like, for the most part, picks on him. And I know he's like the king of trolls and he's good at deflecting shit back and making it funny, haha. But listening to this album, this kid came from a lot of, like, family issues, identity issues, love issues. Like, it's a lot of stories weaved in there from the black, and I appreciate it just from the black male aspect of it, because we don't get these stories a lot. A lot of the rappers are just bravado, egotistical. You don't even know how they feel, but at least, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it here. I compliment him and appreciate him for being brave enough to put this work out there. I appreciate him for being brave enough to just be himself. And that's tough to do for anyone, especially a 21-year-old. It's just tough, especially when the world's criticizing you at every turn you can walk. So I appreciate that. And the music, not bad. Only thing I would say about the music itself is that I'm not a big fan of overly polished and perfect. Like, I'm not a fan of overly perfect. So a lot of records sound great, but a lot of records sound like that may not be you. Like the pop. That's why I say I don't think the singles do the story of this album justice, because it sounds a little like machine behind, if that makes sense. But other than that, I really enjoyed the album. I'm glad I had the time to review it. And let me know in the comments with some of your favorite records on here. What do you think of the Lil Nas album? And, just let me know in the comments. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Yeah, we're just building this family. The family just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So that's pretty much it. Fuck this review. I'm Tatum. Peace.